House prices to crash in 2023. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. Let's look at this article from realestate.com.au. Australian house prices. Okay, bank economists predict a small rise in house prices before a dramatic fall in 2023. So will we get that crash that everyone wants? Well, guys, even if we crash 20%, we're still going to be at, 2019 levels, and that's still going to be unaffordable to most people who are, struggling to get into the market, everyone. So, predictions are showing that the nation's booming property market may not last, but the impact it will have in the long term is still up in the air. It could be viewed as a warning sign for Australia. New Zealand is hiking interest rates. Now, that's true, interest rates are going up. We've seen it several times. The Big Four have increased their rates on fixed mortgages, and out of tune with the RBA. They're anticipating costs are going to go up for the banks, so we'll have to see, everyone. But here's the thing: the biggest hurdle into getting into a mortgage is the deposit. It's not the serviceability. Even if we see an increase in rates, people aren't going to sell. They're not going. If you're in negative equity and it's your home, you're not going to sell. Everyone, you're going to do everything you can to just wait it out. Maybe the banks might push some people over the edge, but we just had our first recession in 28 years, and look at all the interventions that occurred. Now, the thing is, if rates go up and the economy tanks, that may be a different question. I'd suggest then we might see government intervention to prop people up again, because they don't seem to care about the debt that they're growing now, and we've got a new election next year. But if the economy does well, it opens up, more people get work and rates go up, you may see a dent in consumer spending where people are diverting those resources to their mortgage and not selling their house and winding up on the street. So the Reserve Bank of New Zealand recently lifted rates by 0.25% in the latest clue that interest rate hikes could be coming to Australia sooner than expected. And higher interest rates will be a huge dampener on house prices. Well, would it be a dampener on house prices or a dampener on house price growth? The crazy rate of acceleration in Aussie house prices, as shown in the next graph, is now forecast to come to an end with a big fall in 2023 across the country. Okay, so 10%. Is that what they're saying? A 10% fall. So we've gone up 22%, we've gone up then another 7%, and then a 10% fall. So let's have a look. You know what? We'll bring up. Well, no, this isn't all the charts showing you property prices, but you can see there how, back in 2018 we peaked and we went back down. It's going to take a long time before we hit levels of 2006, 2007, a big fall. But I want to bring up here is capital cities from SQM. And what we'll do is, I will just go full screen. This is asking prices here of property. We're sitting around, 1.2 million for all houses. So we'll just say $1 million for a 3-bedroom house. So we're sitting on $1 million. We go up another 7%, but then we'd go down 10%. So we're probably losing, $100,000. So you're sitting at $900,000. So how far back do we have to go there for all houses? We look at the chart. What are we saying? For all houses, come on. Roughly about here, February 2021. There we go, guys. So what do you think? Is it going to be that significant? Was property all the more affordable in capital cities in Australia back in February of this year? You tell me. I don't think it was. The Commonwealth Bank of Australia is predicting that house price growth will slow down substantially in 2022 and then go backwards in 2023. Interest rates become a headwind on property prices if they are rising. That is the place we believe we are moving towards over the next 2 years, wrote the Commonwealth Bank in a note to clients earlier this month. We expect a cooling feedback loop to intensify, whereby subduing buyer expectations coupled with general fatigue and growing anticipation of RBA rate hikes sees prices peak in July or August, September of 2022. ANZ is predicting the same pattern, albeit at a gentler level. They expect falls of 4% in 2023. PropTrack Director of Economic Research Cameron Kusher said, while prices are continuing to rise, they are doing so at a slower pace. The market is still rising at a rapid pace, but the pace of growth has decelerated, he said. Interest rates are everything. The key issue is interest rates. Everyone expects them to go up, but when? If they rise in 2022, that should pour cold water on the housing market sooner rather than later. The RBA is in charge of setting official interest rates. They have said they don't expect to hike rates until 2023 or even 2024, but the RBA's forecasts have been known to change. In this case, they may even be pouring a little sugar because expectations of low interest rates work almost as well as low interest rates in boosting the economy, which is what they're trying to do. So when should we expect interest rates to actually go up? To get a hint, look at New Zealand. Interest rates have gone up. The Reserve Bank of New Zealand lifted rates by 0.25%. That is a sign that the era of super low interest rates is over in that country, and make their interest rates more than 7 times higher than ours, 0.1 versus 0.75. Like Australia, New Zealand has had some crazy house price rises, and like Australia, it is getting a bit uncomfortable about that. It has also experienced a bump in inflation. Also, like Australia, house price falls are forecast. The Reserve Bank of New Zealand expects house prices to fall over there for the next 2 years. But, like Australia, are New Zealand politicians calling for increasing migration of 2 million people into the country to, prop up the property sector? Address skills gaps. I'll leave that for the Kiwis watching to let us know in the comments. Interest rates will go up if inflation rises and wages go up. This is why watching consumer price inflation and wage index is vital to understanding the Australian economy these days. Wages have shown a little bit of strength recently, and consumer price inflation is higher than expected. So is it possible interest rate rise will come sooner than the RBA says? That's what the market is forecasting. Look at the next graph and we'll see what the market expectation is for the official interest rates at various points in the future. There you go. There you go, guys. The blue bar shows the expectation. They are higher than 0.5% by September 22, suggesting that the market believes the RBA will hike rates over 0.5% by then, just 10 months away. Mr. Kusher said, the rate of growth in property prices could slow to somewhere between 5 and 9% nationally next year. Okay, that's a slowing down of growth in our property sector. He noted the Australian Prudential Regulation Authority and the Reserve Bank of Australia were closely watching the growth in housing credit. Price growth has already started to slow, but I think the RBA and APRA would have very little tolerance for an acceleration in credit growth, which would lead to faster price growth and would introduce macroprudential curbs fairly quickly were it to happen, he said. He agreed price falls were possible in 2023, although a lot could change between now and then. With a rapid deceleration in price growth expected in 2022, it is reasonable to expect that could end up resulting in price falls in 2023, he said. So there we go. A potential property price crash in 2023, interest rates going up, and we're still not going to be anywhere near affordable levels, everyone. And let's not forget the millions of migrants that the politicians are wanting to call over to the country to address the job shortages, the skills gaps we have here. Of course. Guys, check out this video on my Realpolitik channel about Omicron neutralizing, providing enhanced neutralization for Delta immunity. Now, here's the thing. If the country opens up, if people are moving around, we get those migrants, what do you think is going to happen to property? Take care.